losing their teenage son while fighting for the life of their newborn.
We got to Children's Hospital literally around like 9 o'clock. My son got hit by a car by 9:30.
Colorado parents share their story on coping with loss while waiting also to welcome home their newborn son.
We are devastated. Our family is flipped upside down.
And a days-old colt stolen from his mother.
I'm not sure what goes through people's heads and what would make somebody take him like that.
His owner's now just hoping he's returned soon.
We would just be grateful for him to be brought back.
And more vaccine clinics shut down by the state. Health officials now making sure those who already got their shot don't have to get it again.
It is just a tragic story all around. A 9-year-old and 2 teenagers hit while crossing the street. One was sent to the hospital and 2 others didn't make it, including Nathaniel Dabney.
Denver7's Ivan Rodriguez spoke with his parents who are coping with the loss of one son while struggling to bring home her newborn son, Alexander, born prematurely.
It's impossible to prepare for the phone call Marcus Dabney received less than a week ago.
It was something that every parent does not want to hear. We lost a part of our heart. We lost a part of our soul.
While tending to their newborn baby at Children's Hospital in Denver, Dabney got a call from one of his sons saying his older brother, 17-year-old Nathaniel, was hit and killed by a car back home in Fountain.
We haven't slept for 3 days. Once we got that news, we were crying, we were aching.
Nathaniel was walking alongside a 9-year-old who was also killed and a 16-year-old who was injured.
You don't just hit 3 kids by accident. You just don't.
Fountain police say on Sunday night, the 3 boys were crossing in the crosswalk against the light. The driver remained on scene. Dabney says his son was at his friend's house while they were in Denver and they had gone out to get snacks.
We're still waiting for answers. We still are waiting for closure on the investigation.
As they bring little Alexander into the world, they say goodbye to their eldest son, who would have made the perfect big brother.
You could play the what if game all day, and you can play the how could have we changed things, what should have we done different. Unfortunately, nothing's going to bring back our 17-year-old. We're never going to get him back. He's never coming home again.
For now, all they can do is wait for answers as to how the lives of 2 young boys were taken in an instant. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver7.
And Marcus and Alicia are still waiting until Alexander is healthy enough to be released from the hospital. So for now, they are taking donations to help with his medical bills, and we do have a link to that GoFundMe. Link to this story on thedenverchannel.com.
It has now been 1 month since 10 people were killed at the King Soopers in Boulder, and now the alleged shooter faces dozens more charges. Today, Boulder DA Michael Doherty added 33 counts of attempted first-degree murder for the people who were in and around the store at the time of the shooting. The suspect's also facing 10 new charges for carrying magazines with more than 15 rounds, illegal here in Colorado. The DA says they're still not sure where the suspect bought the magazines, but do believe they were purchased legally. And today we also learn more about the heroism of Officer Eric Talley, who was killed, and other Boulder police officers, and the lives they likely saved due to their quick actions.
No civilians were shot and killed after Boulder police officers and other law enforcement entered the King Soopers. Less than 30 seconds after Officer Talley was shot and killed, and the other 2 officers were victims of attempted murder, a second wave of officers then engaged and went into King Soopers. That is less than 30 seconds later.
The DA says more charges will likely be filed in the coming weeks.
A ranch out in Fort Lupton is desperately searching for their 4-day-old colt. The colt's owner, Katie Ladke, says she didn't even have time to name the young horse before he was stolen from her property. And today she talked with us next to Trixie, the colt's mother.
He is always right by her, just under her feet. She's a really protective mom, but she's obviously really gentle. She's a broke mare and she trusts people. So we thought that was the only way he could have been taken, really, was by a person.
Katie says once they noticed the colt was missing, she found footprints around her property and tire marks. And now her biggest worry is how long the colt can survive without his mom.
I've taken day-old calves and I've raised them fine, but it's a struggle and you have to know what you're doing. And without another mare's milk or his mom's milk, I don't think he could live that long.
Well, police are also helping look out for the colt, along with a neighbor who's hoping his dogs might be able to pick up the colt's scent and track him down. We have more information on the colt on thedenverchannel.com.
Officers in Wheat Ridge are looking for this red truck stolen with the owner's dog inside. The truck was taken near I-70 at Kipling this morning. The pup's name is Buddy. He is brown with black and white paws.
More than 1.5 million Coloradans have gone to the hundreds of clinics across our state and are now fully vaccinated. Well, now state health officials are shutting down multiple clinics in the metro and testing to make sure that some people don't have to get vaccinated again.
Denver7's Addie Guajardo joins us live in Brighton tonight. So, Addie, exactly what happened at these clinics?
Well, Shannon, we are trying to get all the details and information because there's conflicting information we have been receiving. This advanced urgent care here in Brighton is still up and running, and that's because it met all the state health department requirements. However, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment tells us they shut down 4 other clinics run by this advanced urgent care because they were failing to keep those vaccines at the proper temperature. Now, we got conflicting information when we reached out to the clinic itself, though. A spokesperson for Advanced Urgent Care tells me CDPHE shut down 2 of their mass vaccination sites, not 4. One location at Riverdale Regional Park and another at Front Range Community College. The company claims they were not giving vaccines at the other 2 sites mentioned by CDPHE at Advanced Urgent Care in Westminster and Advanced Urgent Care in Centennial. Advanced Urgent Care also questions how this all happened. CDPHE approved the refrigerators initially used at the mass vaccination sites. A spokesperson with the clinic tells us they were asked to upgrade the refrigerators only recently when the sites were closed, and adds that they didn't know there was a temperature problem.
The CDPHE never said that we had to send reports to them on a weekly basis or daily basis. So we really weren't concerned because we never saw any issues with the refrigerator.
Now, this is one thing we really want to clarify here. According to CDPHE, the Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines administered by Advanced Urgent Care at the sites in question were not compromised, and people do not need to be revaccinated. Now, you might ask, why is the temperature so important? Well, experts say if it does not stay in the range it is designated for, it could impact the potency of that vaccine. We'll continue to gather more information and ask more questions. We have reached out to CDPHE for clarification, and we're waiting to hear back. Reporting live in Brighton, Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
All right, Addie, thank you for that. Now, if you do still need to get your shot, you can now just walk up or drive up to 3 mass vaccination sites. No appointment necessary. This applies to Ball Arena here in Denver, the State Fairgrounds in Pueblo, and the ranch in Larimer County. And some other state-run sites are offering same-day appointments, and we have all this information for you right now on thedenverchannel.com.
And right now, Excel is constructing a new solar garden that will help lower energy costs for low-income families in Denver. The 2-megawatt solar garden will generate enough power for more than 350 homes. It will be the 3rd solar garden Excel has built. This one will be located at the former Arapahoe Power Plant along the South Platte River. Construction should wrap up this summer. And today is also Earth Day. That is why tonight our Denver7 team is airing a special about our Colorado environment, the current drought conditions, and our changing climate. And you can watch it starting at 7 o'clock tonight on the Denver7 app for your favorite streaming device.
President Biden just wrapped up a 2-day climate change with world leaders, climate change summit. And then here in Colorado, Democrats are working on their own bill to curb climate change. But as Megan Lopez explains, not all of them agree on what should be in it.
If there's one thing Governor Polis loves, it's roadmaps. He's got one for healthcare, renewable energy, cannabis banking, in-person learning, and more. Earlier this year, the governor unveiled his roadmap to reducing greenhouse gases. However, fellow Democrats and environmental groups criticized it, saying they want quantifiable, enforceable reductions.
Those policies are not included in the roadmap. We need to see more details, more emphasis on enforceability.
Right now, the roadmap relies on a lot of voluntary compliance.
A pair of bills passed in 2019 added some changes, but this session a group of Democrats has introduced a new one to solidify a timeline.
This bill merely puts in the guardrails.
Senate Bill 200 does 4 main things. It sets rules for greenhouse gas emission reductions. It requires electric companies to present a plan to reach those goals. It establishes a greenhouse gas fee, and it creates a position for someone to promote environmental justice. The bill requires a 26% greenhouse gas reduction by 2026 and a 50% reduction by 2030. For environmental groups,
I think for me, probably the most important message to business leaders across Colorado is it's time to step up.
But Jeff Heyer from the Colorado Rural Electric Association believes this bill is unfair. He says electric companies have been working hard to accomplish the goals set out by 2019 laws.
We've got a path where we can minimize that pain and still achieve the goals. Senate Bill 200, I think, kind of shifts the goalposts on us and creates some uncertainty.
During its first committee hearing this week, Democrats added a few amendments to try to ease the burden on companies, like removing some long-term goals. Still, Heyer is skeptical, and so is the governor. During that committee hearing, the governor's team said they're worried this will affect current efforts, and they don't agree with caps.
So we're continuing to work with the governor's office, saying we want to add in this flexibility, but we do want some assurances.
So while they agree something needs to be done to curb greenhouse gases, for now there's a split in the party on how to move forward. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
An iconic Colorado venue ready to host concerts again.
Red Rocks is kicking off its 80th season tonight, complete with some upgrades.
You know, the downtime wasn't completely bad. Everybody bear with us as fans and employees, and we'll get the season up and running.
And feeling left out.
We've kind of been an afterthought in this whole situation from the get-go.
Local salon owners believe they are being overlooked on loosening restrictions.
If we're trying to get these small businesses going again, why aren't all small businesses considered?
Still some stubborn showers of rain and snow, but you're going to love the weekend forecast.